cannabis and hemp will be legalized on a government level soon in the U.S. This is due to a variety of factors, one of them being the loss of income from the big tobacco companies. If the federal government would legalize cannabis and hemp, the country would greatly benefit from this in two key ways. The first way is by financial gain, as previously mentioned, and the second way is that the U.S. citizens would have the right access to healing properties of cannabis plant and hemp plants, including both plants. We will be going over the things that are happening in Washington around the legalization of cannabis and hemp cultivation and sale, and finally, what is likely to come about soon around this important issue. To begin with, it's in the country's best financial interest to legalize both cannabis and hemp. State by state, cannabis and hemp legalization is occurring regardless of the federal government keeping it illegal and deeming it a Schedule I drug because of the great potential for financial gain from taxing the two plants. According to an article by Yeager from marijuanamovement.net titled, "These 10 states are most likely to pass marijuana legalization bills in 2019. Quote, the number of states with legal marijuana is expected to jump significantly in 2019, and a slew of already filled bills offers looked at what those new legal cannabis systems might look like. While marijuana legalization has already been introduced in at least 17 states, just the legislation that is, including several traditionally conservative ones, there are 10 that seem to hold the most promise of passage at this point. It goes on to list the 10 most potential states for legalization and why. Connecticut was chosen because several House and Senate proposals seek to fully legalize cannabis for adults 21 and older and also establish a commercial market. Hawaii, because Senate President Ron Cucci said that debating marijuana legislation will be a top priority for the state legislature this year. Illinois seems to be in an especially good position to legalize this year. At the beginning of this month, Senator Heather Steins filed a placeholder bill, establish tax, and regulate marijuana system. 15 House members in Minnesota jointly filed a legislation bill last week. New Hampshire lawmakers are moving forward with plans to fully legalize marijuana in Granite State, despite the fact that Governor Chris Sununu has threatened to veto such legislation. In New Jersey, 8 bills have been filed to legalize marijuana, including ones that would involve expungement for past cannabis-related convictions. A bill to legalize marijuana and establish a commercial sales system was filed in New Mexico. There are 4 pieces of legislation on the table in New York. Rhode Island, Governor Gina Raimondo was initially reluctant to embrace marijuana legislation. But in light of legalization efforts underway in neighboring states, she's recently proposed ending cannabis prohibition herself. Half of the Senate in Vermont, including the Chamber's president, has already signed onto a bill that would allow for commercial marijuana sales. Other states to watch in 2019 are Delaware, where legalization came close to passing last year but didn't get the required supermajority support, and Wisconsin, where Governor Tony Evers recently said he supports legislation. What is happening is apparent. As you see more and more states defy the federal government by outright legalization, it is happening more and more rapidly, too. The sharp drop in smoking tobacco is the reason for the big decline in profits for the tobacco industry. Cigarette smoking among U.S. adults aged 18 or older declined from 21% in 2005 to only 15% in 2016. Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell is getting on board the pot train as well, as he has helped pass the industrial hemp legislation provision that was part of the 2018 Farm Bill. With the health benefits of CBD just now being researched and proven, it is becoming more and more clear that the benefits from the cultivation and sale of cannabis hemp are numerous. According to McLeod at CQ Researcher, several states this past year joined a growing list that regulate or plan to regulate recreational cannabis for adults. Nearly 2/3 of voters support legislation for adult recreational use, a move 7 states and the District of Columbia have taken since Colorado and Washington became the first to legalize recreational use in 2012. In addition, nearly 30 states and the district have legalized the medical use of marijuana. Recently, some federal lawmakers have proposed decriminalizing marijuana, and the White House said it will not crack down on states where pot is legal. In April, the Food and Drug Administration for the first time accepted public feedback about possibly removing cannabis from the federal government's list of banned substances. Even the fact that the FDA is considering legalizing cannabis is proof that they may fold and federally legalize sooner than later, as soon as this year perhaps. Next, I will discuss the emerging discoveries of the health benefits of both hemp and marijuana plants that have been scientifically proven and also that have the potential for healing. According to Mantle at CQ Researcher, Americans overwhelmingly approve of medical marijuana, and 29 states, the District of Columbia, have legalized it, allowing doctors to recommend marijuana products to registered patients. Research shows some forms of marijuana, including synthetic drug, help to treat a few conditions, including chronic pain and chemotherapy-induced nausea. But solid research is limited for other forms, such as smoked or vaped marijuana, and for conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder, for which states have been approved marijuana use. Nevertheless, medical marijuana advocates want all states to legalize it. Here are a few visual aids to further my point. We have one visual aid from Weed Links, and it states the health benefits of marijuana. It says it treats migraines, it slows the progression of Alzheimer's disease, it stops cancer from spreading, it prevents blindness from glaucoma, and it treats depression. And now here's another visual guide, the top 10 benefits that marijuana gives you. Marijuana helps many conditions. We have identified the top 10, and it lists 1 is cancer, if you can see there, 2 is seizures, 3 migraines, 4 glaucoma, 5 multiple sclerosis, 6 OCD, 7 ADD, 8 Crohn's, 10 PMS, and 9 Alzheimer's. To review, the U.S. government is starting to show signs that it may be only a few years until it makes the hemp and cannabis fully legal to grow and consume. The health effects of both plants can have a positive impact on society, both financially in terms gained tax revenue for states and government, and improved health as stated previously. There are many reasons for hemp and cannabis legalization, as I have stated in my evidence just previously stated. The time has come for the people in our country to stand up and voice their opinion on this matter. 62% of U.S. residents are in support of legalization, and the number continues to climb. In conclusion, the American view on hemp continues to improve and be positive for the future, I believe that in 1 to 2 years, hemp and marijuana will be legal for users to consume and sell for the benefit of the government and its people.